Man, I gotta lay off on Marketplace. Oh, what's this? 2014 CRF250R for $1,200. The dual exhaust model.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it.
Oh, I definitely do need it, and I'm going to get it right now. Just got off the phone with a guy. He said his buddy was riding it, and it shut off on him. It's always the buddy that blows the bikes up. Anyway, he said they tried to start it again. It felt like it had a hard spot while kicking it over, and they did get it to start again for a split second. It sounded like marbles were in the engine. So to me, that sounds like jump timing, and the valves are just lightly kissing on the piston. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. It could be a crank that's going out too, but for the price of 900 smackers, I am more than happy to tear this thing down and fix whatever it needs. So I'm excited to get back home with it. All right, we're back at the house now, and yeah, the bike is pretty grungy. Front fender's all sun faded, graphics pretty rough, back tires shot. It's gonna need a serious polishing. It's got a Walmart chain on it. Rear shock, I don't think it's blown, but it looks pretty grunge. It's missing the motor mount here. I mean, it's somebody that's probably goober working on this thing. Fork seals, I've seen worse. It's got the Honda Progressive steering dampener on the front with a couple of hundos, so that sweetens the deal. Fat bars, riser bars, those are nice. It's got a Henson clutch, at least the cover anyway. But yeah, this thing's pretty filthy, but I see a lot of potential in it. I mean, aside from this, I mean, who puts fake carbon fiber wrap on their bike? This is goober activities right here. So my buddy's helping me out today, and he brought me over this concoction. He wouldn't tell me what it is, but I can only imagine it's a mix of hog piss, rat piss, diesel, baking soda, and Dr. Pepper. And I think it's just what the doctor ordered. I mean, this bike is filthy. The last time this thing was cleaned, eggs were $1.50. So definitely want to get it cleaned up so nothing falls into the motor when we take it apart. And then we'll use his super duper, insanely high pressure washer on this thing. I'll stop talking so you can get some redneck ASMR. Alright, so we're back in the shop with it now, and it's much cleaner than it was. However, it will need a final polish, all said and done. Has red anodized hubs and Tusk impact rims. I love that dual exhaust. I thought this model had the PSF1 air forks, but it's the Showa twin chamber typical inverted spring fork. Totally fine with that. But yeah, let's get started tearing this thing down, see what's going on here. Taking the seat off. Happy to see it does have an air filter. I mean, it's dirty, but a lot of them don't even have one, so I'll take it. Taking the tank off here. And if you need your bike clean, call us at 1-800-CAN'T-GET-RIGHT. That's terrible. That's what I was trying to avoid. Oh well. We'll get the back end off here. Taking the valve cover off now. This is what I was actually hoping to see. It's kind of in its stuck position now, and the lobes are down, meaning that the intake valves are open and most likely touching the piston just a little bit, and that's why this is having issues. It's jump time. Taking some of the electronics off now, and luckily my buddy brought this tool over that you could work on this bike from 5 zip codes away. And we get the timing chain tensioner off. We're going to replace this. I don't trust the tensioner or timing chain anymore after a timing chain jumps teeth, so we'll get those swapped. Taking the cam out now, and moment of truth, does it turn over? And it does. So it was jump timing, and that was the issue. That's why it was locking up. So not the crank, most likely. Taking the coolant out though, just a couple of driblets. This bike's got a prostate the size of a honeydew melon. Look how filthy it is. Man, that header is gross. Popping the coolant lines off. Get the head off now. All right, so we're popping the head off now. Looking into the cylinder, and I'm really shocked to see that the only damage is a little bit of the carbon knocked off the top of the piston. The cylinder wall looks great. A little bit of debris in here, but I don't see any significant damage at all. Sliding the cylinder off. This piston I'm going to go ahead and replace. just because it has been kissed by the valves. I replaced the intake valves as well. Get this piston off and check out the rod. And the rod looks good, doesn't have any vertical play on it. So the rod is totally fine, and it just jumped time. Now this is a little concerning. I see the bottom of the piston has marks on it like there's debris floating around in the motor. But looking at the oil, I don't see any debris. So hopefully he had at some point replaced the crank and used the old piston, I guess. I don't know. I'm hoping that he got all of the debris out of the motor. I didn't see any when I looked down and around the crank, and looking inside of these covers too, I really don't see any debris floating around. So I'm assuming at some point they replaced the crank and reused the piston, which is crazy. Pop the flywheel off now. We'll get this old nasty timing chain off too. And yeah, that timing chain, it's all kinked up. The one thing I noticed is this C-clip way too open and loose. Somebody has replaced this and reused that C-clip that's fallen off. I'm gonna get a new one for that. So at this point, I could have just bought a new timing chain tensioner, but it seemed like a pretty good excuse to use the mill. So I drafted one up, got it programmed. I had some 6061 laying around. Get it indicated here and machined out. Just a couple of operations. Through the bottom side here, gonna drill it out and tap it. And then we'll flip it over for op 2 and get to roughing. Throw some contours on there, chamfers, and just like that, best looking dang part on the bike, and it works great. Luckily, looking around the shop, I didn't have to order this. I had a new head gasket, rings, C-clip, and an OEM piston. I went back and touched up the cylinder just a bit with a diamond hone, and we'll get this new top end installed. Ring gap's good, didn't have to file it down at all. And this is one thing, man, I hate about engine building is scraping gaskets. All right, we're gonna blow out this passageway here. This is a passageway that feeds the jet for the piston and all the oil going to the top end, so make sure we have no obstructions there, and that is clear. Now it's time to flip our switches back on our impacts and ratchets from off to on and go back with it. Got the cylinder and piston installed, head installed. Everything going together pretty clean here. Also, the previous owner let me know the bike only ran with the high idle knob pulled out on the throttle body. So I'm going to go ahead and clean everything out and backwash the injector. I suspect that's the issue here. And also got our new C-clip on the plastic oil pump gear there. So I just kind of halfway slapped it back together here just to see if it'd start up. And it sounds like there's something rattling in the bottom end. And the rod was good. I put a new piston in, as you saw. Top end is all good. It sounds like something's free slapping around like a bolt in the bottom end or something. That's just something I couldn't get to or see. I'm tempted to start it up again and let you listen to it, even though that is probably a stupid idea, but hey, we're filming the process. Let's film the process. Here's what it sounds like. Yeah. So at this point, I'm pretty much forced to drain the oil on the transmission side. I'm gonna pull the cover and dig around in there and see if I can't find something like a dowel pin floating around or a broken gear tooth bouncing around. I'm being kind of optimistic here, but realistically, it's likely gonna be something deeper in the motor, maybe an issue with the main bearing, maybe something that the previous guy dropped down in the motor. And like I suspected, you know, looking around in here, there's no broken teeth, there's no debris. I don't see any marks on the casings from debris. The clutch looks totally fine. I will say the faux carbon fiber is kind of growing on me. Nothing in the clutch cover, no markings, all good here. Well, you want to give them the bad news? That they may as well subscribe for part 2 because that motor's got some butt nuggets in it and they need dug out. Well, actually hold that thought on part 2 because I do have a ton of EFI Honda parts here and it's worth digging into it just to see if it's something I may have around the shop beforehand. So let's take a gander and see if we can't figure out what that noise is. So listen while I turn this over. You can kind of hear some, not the rod slapping around, but there's something else if you can hear this. I think I actually see something here. That, whatever that is, So I tried fishing out with a pick, and it's too narrow of a space to get into. So I'm going to loosen up this 17 primary nut right here, and maybe we can let the crank go towards the left a little bit, and we can fish it out. But that is definitely the issue. I may still need to split the cases and look at the bearings though. So I got the primary off, and it only allows me to scoot the crank over about that much, which we can get a little bit better look at it now. But I really still can't get to it. Well, we're this far into it. Let's go ahead and split the cases. And I mean, even if that one piece I was able to get out from here, there might be more. So let's go exploring. Yeah, so for anybody wanting to get into bike builds and stuff like this, just know this is how it usually goes. You start out really optimistic, thinking, man, this is going to be a fast, fun, easy build. I'll make some money. And next thing you know, you're elbow deep in the motor and your wife's yelling at you for not seeing her in 3 weeks. All right, the cases are split. And there's that pesky piece of metal we were seeing. And there's where it came from. So just so happened to have this 250X main bearing, which is the same part number as the 14R. So we're gonna run this main bearing. And I also found a seal to go with it. Where this bearing seats is a little roughed up here, so I'm gonna come in and polish this up a bit so it seats flush. All right, so we got our bearing sub-zero. Our case is nice and toasty, and it drops right in with the fingers. No press or hammering needed. And gonna completely drown this bolt and Loctite for some reason. At least it's not gonna back out. I'm gonna get these old seals out of here, and you can see the needle bearings on this other side are also bad. They came out with pretty much no effort. They're just falling out of the cage. So I did use the 250X bearing on that side too, and the seal as well. It worked out just fine. Like I said, same part numbers, all going back together super smooth here. I didn't even notice that was a hinge in the basket until it went back together, and now it's turned over smooth with no sounds. So I got the engine back in the frame. So I'm going to swap on these stock wheels and tires for a couple of reasons. One, these have decent tires, and I don't want to change the other one. And two, I can sell the red and black rims online, even with the bad tires on them. So make a little extra change and save me some time here. So I'll throw these stockers on. The bad news is they were using this random junk piece of metal as a spacer. So I'm going to fire the machine up one more time and mill one out to spec. Yep, she's solid. So these were the brake pads that were on the bike. And you can see this one on the right here has been metal to metal for quite some time. So we had to change those out. Got those swapped, and then also I saw that this thread was bad, so I threw a helicoil in it so the brake will stay on reliably. All right, so now it's time to swap this sun-faded front fender and this front wheel. Oddly enough, I only had another black wheel with a chrome hub to put on it, but I needed the front one to match the back one to sell them as a pair. Getting the junky old grips off here and putting some new pro tapers on. Now everything's back together. All right. Moment of truth. Will it start up? Man, that sounds much better. So on to the final polishing and getting her listed. Thanks for watching, guys.